Hello and welcome to this special edition of Showcase, coming to you from the Kadıköy neighborhood of Istanbul, known for its hip and bohemian style. If you don't know much about hip-hop, today is your lucky day as we explain everything about the music genre from its birth to how it still lives on today. Hip-hop used to be a whole lifestyle lived by a minority of people in New York decades ago, but with time, young talents came out of the shadows to bring the next best thing in the music industry.
New York City is the undisputed birthplace of hip-hop. The glamorous and rich life of disco was most popular in the 1970s among New York's high-class neighborhoods. But little did people there know that the turbulence and hardships of the Bronx were going to bring the next big thing to the music industry.
Dr. Dre is the name, I'm ahead of my gang, still puffing my leaf, still with the beats, still not loving police.
Dominating the internet, TV and radio, how did hip-hop go from underground to mainstream pop culture? It all began with Jamaican-American DJ Kool Herc. He developed a style that was the blueprint for hip-hop. It soon became an alternative both to the gang culture of the Bronx and to the developing popularity of disco. His style was quickly taken up by figures such as Afrika Bambaataa and Grandmaster Flash. In the 1980s, Rhyme King DJ Hollywood took the hip-hop world by storm, introducing a different form of rapping. But before that, he had mastered DJing by creating a set that included singing, rhyming, and call and response, where he interacted with the crowd. That was a line DJ Hollywood created and has been used by his counterparts since the mid-1980s.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Since then, hip-hop continued to evolve until the concept of gangster rap was formed. During the mid-1980s gang violence, the use of drugs, particularly crack cocaine, and police brutality were the main subjects of most lyrics. The genre received much criticism for promoting violence, but rappers say they were being unfairly singled out because their music reflected deeper changes in society which weren't being addressed. Schoolie D and Ice-T are two legendary rappers who started this genre and voiced their opinions about urban realism through their lyrics to the world. Although hip-hop was now part of mainstream pop culture, the ideology of the typical pop star hadn't changed.
I told the world one day I would pay it back. Say it on tape and let it record it so that one day I can play it back. But I don't even know.
Rapper, record producer, and entrepreneur Dr. Dre had set his mind to change that. He reshaped how hip-hop was perceived and brought it to the forefront of the music industry. With every era came a talented poet adding more funk to the hip-hop game. And whether it be a beat, rhythm, or tempo, hip-hop continues to evolve, but there is one thing that never changes. And that is how it became and remains a means of expression across the globe.
We took the chance to interview a couple of legendary US rappers who've recently been here in Istanbul, and we'll share their stories with you throughout the program. Big Daddy Kane might ring a bell for old school hip-hop fans. Well, our reporter Adel Halim caught up with him.
A lot of people throw around the word legend, but right now I'm joined by your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, legend Big Daddy Kane. Welcome to Istanbul.
Good to be here, man. Good to be here.
Oh, yeah. I'm with this.
I'm just gonna sit here laid back to this nice mellow beat, you know?
Hip hop is used as a medium, a platform for people all over the world. It started in, you know, New York, but people in Istanbul, everywhere they want to, you know, have their voice out, to rebel, revolt, they use hip hop. How powerful is that to you?
I mean, you know, that's what hip hop is for. You know, I mean, a movement, you know, that was created for the youth to express themselves and, you know, be creative and do their own thing, you know. It was something that was created for the youth. You understand? It wasn't created for New York. It was created for the youth. So therefore, the youth in Istanbul, the youth in Japan, the youth in Russia, wherever, if you love it and you dig it, you can be a part of it.
So listen to the man of the hour, flow and go to a slow tempo and you know.
One of the reasons spitting lyrics became so popular was because of the content the artists spoke in. Hip-hop not only has its funk and fun, but it also tells different stories that fans are able to connect with on an emotional, social, and political level.
I've seen a nigga hung with a gold chain. I've other sing about the same things that we claim. Such as bashful, but niggas like a task force. Mobbing on the streets and robbing stores and scheme ass, bruh. Niggas ask for peace and the riot to bring violence. Cause it's a game of cat and mouse and you gon' live with my head down. Hands up. No, don't shoot. No, don't shoot.
LA, put your lighters up. VA, put your lighters up.
Have you ever loved someone so much you giving on for? Not the expression, no, literally giving on for. When they know they're your heart and you know you are their armor and you will destroy. Look at me now, I bet you're probably sick of me now, ain't you, mama? I'ma make you look so ridiculous now. I'm sorry, mama, I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to make you cry, but tonight I'm cleaning out my closet.
People killing, people dying. Children hurting, I hear them crying. Can you practice what you preaching? Would you turn the other cheek again?
What happened to the love and the values of humanity?
Where's the love?
What happened to the love and the fairness and equality?
Where's the love?
Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity.
Where's the love?
Lack of understanding leading us away from unity.
Where's the love?
And I had the chance to have a chat with MC Lyte, the first solo female rapper to release a full album back in the 80s. And of course, she had some wisdom to share.
When you say you love me, it doesn't matter. It goes into my head as just chit-chatter. You may think it's egotistical or just very free, but...
You really paved the road for female rappers, and you were one of the first females to release an album in the hip-hop industry. Tell me how it was facing all the prejudice towards female rappers back then.
Well, you know what? I don't think I didn't even pay attention to it. I didn't, all I knew is I had a message that I wanted to get out there. Mm-hmm. And so I actually thought it worked best that there weren't a lot of female MCs. This way you could actually have your voice heard and you could be recognized and noticed if you were doing something, you know, worthy of attention. So I didn't feel like I was losing out or missing something because I was a woman, and I didn't feel like it was difficult.
There are so many movements because of social injustice that have been happening, and one has been Take a Knee. And it's crazy to see people out there trying to fight just to be accepted in this day and age. What social message has struck you the most?
Oh boy, there have been so many movements, and they're all suited for the same purpose, and that is we are looking for justice to be served in areas where the playing field has not been leveled whatsoever. And I think we can come up with all sorts of names for them that sort of, you know, gives a boost of energy into the entire movement, which is civil rights, like we are human beings and we should be treated as such. So I don't think I've gravitated towards one more than the other. I'm, for the most part, for civil rights, period.
How important is it for artists to send out the right message, especially with everything that's happening in America, its new president and its new rules?
I mean, I think it's important, but I'm also a DJ, so I do understand that when you're DJing for, you know, a party, people may not necessarily want to be screaming, "Fight the power." You know, they may want to enjoy themselves. You know, honestly speaking, life in itself is hard enough, right? So there are points in time where people want to escape all of what's happening, and they do that through music. And it just so happens they've done it through a whole lot of other genres, you know. There were very few, you know, artists back in the day that would let a period of time go by without speaking of the time, you know, hence Curtis Mayfield and Marvin Gaye and, you know, just all of these prolific artists that were able to speak about the time that they were in. But then on the flip side of that, you had people singing about love. You had, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire speaking about spirituality. Like, so I just think it's important that we let all the entire spectrum of life be able to be conveyed through music. And unfortunately, everyone looks at hip hop like y'all are the ones that should do it all. We can, I can, because that's my life. That's what I live for, equality. And many other people do too. But there are some rappers who are just not built for it. They're not meant to do it. And hopefully they can be led just like many fans can.
So you are a true role model, whether it be representing women, supporting education, and just breaking barriers in general. With all the injustice and chaos, what advice would you give to maybe an artist or maybe just a little girl out there?
I would say, for me, stay entrenched in the Word. And that means whatever that word is for you. For me, it's the Bible. It's me finding solace in that there is a infinite power that can change everything if we believe. We've got to have faith in a bigger purpose, you know, and that everything that we're up against is meant, you know, is how are we going to react to it? What are we going to do that's different, that's going to change it? It's calling everyone to a certain level of accountability, and are you going to show up?
So you are in Istanbul right now and you're on tour. Tell me more about what's going to be happening in the next couple of days.
Oh goodness, well we mainly want to have a good time. It's been some time since I've been over, and so I think we're going to be in Berlin and the Netherlands and Sweden, and we're going to jump over to the UK for a couple of days. But it's an interesting time to be out on the road. So I'm taking that in as well, and then being able to reunite with fans that I haven't seen in some time. So this will be good.
Sucker, you missed. I put feelings aside. I know who I am. My name is Lyte. Is your name Sam? Cause if it is, step off. Grab your coat and get lost. Wrap your scarf around your throat and go back and catch the boat and hit the road, Sam.
Hip-hop isn't just about music. There are a whole bunch of elements that come with being a true hipster. Erol Civan was at the Free Flow Hip Hop Festival here in Istanbul and shows us what it means to have the hip-hop swag.
We followed the stream of lyrics and beats spreading throughout Istanbul's streets, only to find the Free Flow Festival, Turkey's first international hip-hop spectacle. Though the weather was overcast with rain, there was still a turnout due to Wu-Tang. Rappers Ghostface Killah and Killah Priest came to headline the show and perform in the East. Big Daddy Kane and MC Lyte were some old school legends getting the crowd hyped. Malik Yusef, the spoken word artist, came to drop knowledge and illuminate the darkness. Hip-hop was born in the 1970s in the Bronx. At that time, it was a war zone, completely neglected, so gangs were just fighting each other all the time. Later, the gangs had peacekeeping meetings to try and end the gang wars, and that's when the 4 elements of hip-hop came out. DJs that were mixing records for the parties, the MCs that were rapping to keep the party alive, the breakers that were dance battling, and it was the taggers, also known as the graffiti artists.
Graffiti, one of the 4 elements of hip-hop. How it came about, gangs had to tag their territories so they knew which territory was which. Later, during peacekeeping times, when people started coming out and partying in the streets, graffiti became a form of expression of art.
I was incredibly surprised. I thought they wrote words using pictures. I said to myself I could do this, and has become my best friend and my greatest love. It's never let me down or left me alone.
I'm with my beat boys and beat girl, Batu, Setanai, and Ash, and they're about to show me how to bust a move. So let's get down.
My name is B-Boy Ash from Istanbul at Groove. I show you the basic step. Ready? 1, 2, stop. Freeze, no? 1, 2, freeze. Yeah, that's it. Nice.
Now I'm gonna get it. Oh,
hey, this is my granddad. He's coming.
Hey, granddad is up in this. And that's a wrap on the Free Flow Festival, the first international hip-hop festival in Turkey. So tonight I say, peace out.
Our reporter Adil Halim was also at the Free Flow Festival, where he spoke with American rapper Ghostface Killah from the group Wu-Tang Clan. Regarded as one of the greatest MCs of all time, here's what he had to say about his industry.
Yo, check these up top murderers. Snowy in the bezel is the cloud murders. FBI trying won't word with this kid who put down.
Walking on stage with one of the founding members of one of the most influential hip-hop groups of all time, my man Ghostface Killah in Istanbul. How you doing, brother?
What's up, brother?
How beautiful is it for you to perform for crowds all over the world and to respect this brand, for them to respect that brand?
It's a blessing. You know, I came from the struggle. I never thought that I'd be sitting in Turkey one day, you know what I mean? Or even the place I just came from, you know what I mean? But you know what? I'm humble. I give all praises due to the Most High, you know, and I'm grateful.
And I want to leave the fans with a positive note. You talk about your faith, your religion, and the angels and doing the right thing. Tell me why that's so important for you.
Because I don't forget what was given to me and who gave it to me. You know what I mean? That put me up out the struggle. God is real. You know what I mean? Don't let nobody never tell you that the Most High is not real. He's real. He's just, the sun don't gotta shine every day. You know what I mean? The earth don't gotta spin the way it spins. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta meet everybody with a different face. It's never the same face, not the same fingerprint on nobody. You know what I mean? So little things like that recognize and let me know, like, yo, the Most High he's live and well. You know what I mean? All day. Only difference is there's a battle between God and devil. You know, negative against positive. You know what I mean? And that's the science of life. So I understand that.
If there's one place hip-hop really made its mark, it's fashion. But what encapsulates hip-hop swag, and how's the style evolved over time? Let's break it down for you.
Swagger, streetwear, bling. Hip-hop's more than just music. It's about the aesthetic, too.
It means taking my culture, that is hip-hop, anywhere I go.
As hip-hop emerged in the late 70s and 80s, sportswear brands attached themselves to rappers and hip-hop artists who were the new cool. It was a time of bright tracksuits, heavy jewellery, and Reeboks and Jordan Airs. The 90s ushered in a new era.
Can't touch this.
Everyone remembers MC Hammer's harem pants, right?
In 90s, hip-hop fashion was more fat, but now it's like it's making a little bit thinner, but the tops are still fat, but it's real. It's still hip-hop, but 90s hip-hop. Yeah, cool.
The 90s also saw fashion designers, think Isaac Mizrahi and Chanel, taking inspiration from urban styles. And that soon morphed into hip-hop artists, making the transition from music to catwalks. From Sean P. Diddy Coombs.
I don't know what his name is now. P. Diddy, Sean John, he has to get it together. But his clothes are always together. You know, he always does a really good look that kind of runs the edge between fashion, style, but yet wearability.
To will.i.am.
If you like the jacket from afar, the silhouette is nice. When you come close, you start seeing all the details. And it's the same with music, when you're really crafting and putting it together.
As far as fashion sense and style are concerned, Nas is very important for me. I'm not into new school hip-hop. I'm not wearing baggy pants anymore, but I still show I belong to the culture with the chains, rings, and shoes I choose to wear. For me, the music and hip-hop is life itself.
Expressing yourself through the clothes and accessories you wear is a vital part of hip-hop culture. And though styles might be changing, swagger lasts forever.
He's a spoken word artist, a poet, and a musician. Malik Yusef made his career as a wordsmith, but it wasn't easy to start off with. Let's take a quick look at his career.
Growing up in Chicago's South Side neighborhood known as the Wild Hundreds, which is home to most of the city's gangs, Malik Yusef experienced firsthand poverty and life on the streets as a gang member.
Is there a solution to end the violence in Chicago's gang-infested neighborhoods?
Turning this hardship into a source of inspiration for his poems wasn't the only challenge he faced as a teenager. He also overcame dyslexia.
Well, if you're not useful, then you are useless.
Malik started honing his craft in the mid-90s, reciting verses at open mic nights chronicling city life. He developed a loose but powerful freeform style that caused him to be noticed by hip-hop artists. Offers of collaboration started pouring in. Branching into the hip-hop world came naturally, and he was featured on Channel Live's Armageddon album and Common's One Day It'll All Make Sense. In 2003, Malik released his debut solo album, The Great Chicago Fire, A Cold Day in Hell. It featured a long list of production credits and guest appearances from artists including Kanye West, Extreme, Shantae Savage, Common, and Big Nasty. This father of five is a revolutionary who advocates urban revitalization and extensive social reforms.
The very talented Malik Yusef put together an exclusive spoken word piece for TRT World. Check it out.
There must be known that happiness is an inside job. Poetic freestyle, pen slide, mob, mafiosa, La Familia. We are all one people. We are familia. Please get familiar that we are more than just similar. Sisters and brothers. I think Rumi said it best. There are no others.